So imagine this, you know, you get up in the morning, you do a bunch of things, and someone asks you what you're doing, what you did, and you tell them, well, the first thing I did this morning was open my eyes, and the second thing was think about whether I wanted to go back to sleep, and then, I took off my blankets, and then I put my feet on the floor, and then I stood up, and I was blinking while I was doing all this, and I was also breathing, and then, I looked for my clothes. And you really want to listen to that guy? You don't want to listen to that guy. It's like, why are you telling me that? I want you to tell me something interesting. Well, what is it that's interesting? And why isn't that interesting? It's not obvious. So then imagine the guy actually tells you a pretty good story, a little adventure. Probably he was doing something normal, something unexpected happened. He had to conjure up some new responses, and he either settled the problem or didn't settle the problem. Yeah, you're interested in that. Especially if he settled the problem, because if he can tell you how when he encountered some unexplored territory, he was able to sew it back together, then maybe you can do that when that thing happens, and that's pretty cheap wisdom for you. He had to go through all the aggravation of figuring it out, and all you have to do is listen. Well, he tells you something exciting. Well, then imagine that 10 people tell you something exciting, and then you extract out the pattern of them dealing with this problem from that, and so then you have that's what you do if you're an author, right? Because in a book, you don't want the book exactly to be about what ordinary people do in ordinary times in their life. It's like, you already know how to be ordinary during ordinary times of your life. That's not useful. You wouldn't watch a videotape of yourself. Imagine you videotaped yourself during a day, and then the next day you watched that. It's like, God, who would want to do that? So what seems to happen in stories is that they distill. So they watch people watch people, and then they tell stories about what they see, but they leave a lot out of those stories. Everything that's boring, hopefully. And then more and more stories about exciting things get sort of aggregated, and then maybe a great writer comes along and writes something really, really interesting. Profound character transformations. And then you say, well, that's fiction. And then you say, well, that's not true, because it's fiction. But then maybe that's not right. Maybe it's more than true. Because who wants the truth? The truth is mundane reality, and you've already got that mastered. What you want is the distillation of interesting experience